Well, it's another great weekend. Of course, it's the 13th day of August 2016. And of course, we've gone over half a year, and actually we're in the 8th month of the year. Out of the 365 days, we're actually almost getting into over close to the 3/4 of the year. And definitely, we have a lot to discuss today. The program is Motorsport. This is the long waited hour on your favorite Saturday. We're always here to give the best in the world arena of motorsport, where we discuss about more about the motocross, trail riding of recent, and of course freestyle riding, MotoGP. Talk about motor racing, rallying itself, and of course talk about motocross. It was, however, a great weekend. Of course, we have a lot to cover this weekend. Much action is happening down in Chigari with the Mountain Gorilla Rally, the 5th round of the 2016 African Rally Championships, with Uganda having 12 representatives and, of course, almost taking 50% of the participant, the participation percentage. And, of course, we from the Rwanda Mountain Gorilla Rally shall always, we are going to have the latest from the World Rally Championship, what's happening at the World Globe via the World Rally Championship contention. And, of course, guess what? Though the German defending World Rally Champion, Sebastian Ogier, he's not yet in the last appearance, actually the last outing. He has not had a win, but of course he has been a share of wins with the recent. And of course, guess what? The Chris Mickey was all celebrant after winning the Royal of Finland. And homeboy Jari Rativara was all struggling from day 2 up the last power stage, as you'll be seeing on the TV screens. We actually, let me get to start off straight away with the local bit of it. Frank has to present to the show, and actually we're going to be in a rush and run over issues and get everything discussed, because guess what? We are going to have a walk-off and have an on-field shooting, where we had a chance to host 2 of our guests of today. And actually we're going to give you a link of how we have we featured outside of the studio. Starting off WRC, of course, many is happening. Much has happened under the course of the week, and we had different teams trying their best to test their cars ahead of the Royal of Germany. That is going to be happening on the 18th and 22nd of August, which is the next coming weekend. And of course, match is anticipated after a win after Britain. Chris Mickey, that's they call themselves True White or True English. That's Chris Mickey and the Citroen D3 seemed to be a person to beat in the last outing in Finland, but proves to be more of improved running of the D3. As earlier we saw Hayden Paddon under the I-20, and of course Thierry Neuville trying to inside with the top runners, but unfortunately he couldn't do it here. Rally actually defending World Rally Champion, that is Sebastian Ogier, tried his best to try see himself onto in the round of the top 10. Unfortunately, he's hissed bye-bye actually to the top position running after weighing off right into a ditch, and it took him a long bit of time to get back on the road and chase down the running the top running boys. In the test of the week, we had Jari Rativara, and of course he was trying out his best and see testing his car ahead of the German Dortmund rally that is going to be next on Brock. And of course it had a little bit of the hassles as he was trying to pick to get into the field of his car and upgrades. And of course he went very off-road and survived hitting up a tree, and he had a few little damages, but continued, went ahead to try his car. And as in the same way, Volkswagen out testing their Volkswagen 2017 car that is going to be on block to compete with the other world team drivers. And of course the Volkswagen version 2017 seems to be a little bit improved, but so it's almost in the same shape. But of course I think the technology is much in the engine upgrades and a little bit of the suspension build-ups that is going to be a little bit modified, and it seems to be so much on moving with the grip. On the same way, Team Hyundai i20 is also testing their car and trying to see that they get up formidable performance out of the i20, and they seem to be looking at chasing down the championship. And of course, still trailing on top is none other than Sebastian Ogier, the world defending champion. And of course, though he has had no win in the last 4 outings, with different winners. We saw Hayden Paddon taking up a lead, and of course, we actually had the recent Chris Mickey also matching up to be one of the best guys. Unfortunately, the unfortunate person who has always been at the age of winning, that's Old Tanak has always had mechanical, and of course he has had mechanical glimpses coming his way. And the last Larry, actually before the Royal of Finland, he narrowly missed out of winning when he had a puncture on the patinate stage, when he was in the power stage, and definitely lost it off to the days had chasing Hayden Paddon, who had a chance to flick into a win. And Chris Mickey in the record, Chris Mickey went into the record books of WRC, being a winner, the Citron, the Briton being the first, being his maiden. You can imagine all the years of outing he was trying and trailing over time, but he picked up his form in the last finish rally, that he picked his win and ended up being there, putting it under his belt, the first ever WRC event to come under his way. Big out to the Citron team, and I know many guys are trying. And one other team I would say has tried to keep up with the pace of the top runners in the WRC is the I-20. The I-20 seems to be improving, and of course you can't count them out of the podium positions unless they're out of touch, but often try to be flying in. And away from there, of course, we are seeing the next on block. Remember, the German Deutschland rally is the one which is coming on block, and of course we expect an escalating and much moment of which is anticipated to be so high. Well, it was a merry making and celebration for, that is, Lewis Hamilton in the Formula 1, where he went ahead to win the German Grand Prix. And of course, he seemed to be much on his form. He might have recovered all of his form, and of course, seemed to be a man to beat. Nico Rosberg, who trailed him all out, even the moments in the training, the factor, all three practices, who seemed to have been in the head. Hamilton proved an icon to be beaten in the Mercedes driver. His teammate, actually Nico Rosberg, lost off a little bit of the grip on the, and of course lost it over. And we are seeing actually in the same line of safety, we are seeing Michelin going to be launching their first ever tires at the WRC that is coming in, that's in Germany, and we are all splitting the same way. It was a touch, as in the calculation of which tires to run on at the German Grand Prix, that the submit on the button picked up and merged up with the marginal. Now he's having a marginal lead. He is currently leading the championship, the Formula 1 championship, and trailed in second position with, that is by his none other than teammate Nico Rosberg. And of course we're seeing Red Bull trying to get into the third position chest down, and we are seeing they are trying to really fight up. Red Bull and Ferrari trying to be a leak up to the top three positions. That is from Formula 1, and same way, and we've had a lot saying, and of course the McLaren team is proving to be saying maybe it may be a hurting moment, as in they lose of a driver this season, but we hope they get to improve and have a best good breed. Just as Red Bull had a new setting of a youngster, 18-year-old, who registered his first ever maiden appearance. He made a win. He marked a win on his career, Formula 1 career. That is Max Verstappen. That is under the flagship of Red Bull, and we hope he's going to be much improved in next coming bit of the events coming on, Brock. And of course, we've had a lot, and we shall subsequently be playing you what the highlights of the German, both the German Grand Prix, and of course we shall be playing you Finland. The Adeline, which was down in Finland, was so exciting that many guys were left yearning for more action. Just as Jari Rativar, in one of his confessions in the week, he said he was out to win, but of course he did what he could have done. But unfortunately, they pushed to the maximum up the last fitness stages. But unfortunately, the win was under not his way, but just under Chris Mickey, who seemed to be have been on his form. Well, as in we get off, that's the WRC block. We get a short break, come back straight away, because we have a lot to cover with the local beat, and we are going to get straight away into what's happening in Rwanda, Kigali. As you may be lucky enough, we may have a little bit in the leaks with the Rwanda counterparts who are going to give us a little bit in the nitty-gritty. And of course, Rwanda is exemplarily wanting to prove that the East African continent, the East African community, and of course the continent at large as Africa, that they are out to style up with the style of railing. And of course, yesterday they had a start off with the power, actually they called it a shakedown stage, which has only been featuring at the WRC, but Africa, we had not had it. I think Rwanda is trying it first on the African continent, of course, having a shakedown at Amahoro Stadium. They had it over, and of course today is the super action with the long stage ropes that's going to be running underway, underway. We'll come back again from our short break. We come back straight away with the local bit of it and get into a little bit of what's happened down here. Mwena abatuuliza mukola kinene nnyo kubanga muli naffe wano ku WBS TV. Mukola kinene nnyo kubanga muli tuned. Moto Sport tinzo gamba muli amalungi nti tubasanyo nti we are now tuisobodde okubanga tulina abantu abatwegasseko wano ku Moto Sport nga sibala wabala awa Cityville bali mpinda kinya okuva wano wetuli bo basazeewo okubanga bateeka ensimbi mu programu eno bakkiriza nti muzima kyamazima tuli bannambemu muchi tukola era tubebaza mwena Cityville ke kafoko ka wosobola okumulira nga tulina kutataganyizibwa wosanga buli kiralo kalonda wetaga bala wetaga kyakulya wetaga kifo wosanga music yenna omusemenkevu Cityville awo kasitotuka ku T junction eyawula ekikuba ekikira wansi ekamocha mpoza abamanyi nnyo Bukoto Flats naawo ekizimbe ekiryawo kirinanyeewo kitegeka mangu kyebemuga awo tukawo Cityville weokawo sobola okuyimirira nosobola okufuna konna kwetaaga tubebaza mwena abakoze kyonna kyemusoboka okubanga mutubegatako era tusima efforts zonna abanafu aba Cityville tebakomye kubanga bassa ensimbi mu show eno wabula bagenze ne maaso okubanga basasulira omuvuzi mulamba Clear Council Godfrey Nsamba mpozi ne munne co-driver Anthony Mugambe bali wansi Rwanda bali mukubinkana n'abasajja abanyarwanda mu entry je twagambye nti Uganda yataddemu entry ya 50% abavuzi 12 balambirira ekitegeeza ku bavuzi 28 Uganda bwe bakona abavuzi 12 nga Kenya esinise actually Kenya esinise omuvuzi omu yono yakyakulembedde championship ya Africa that oyo musajja fly 540 Don Smith kulembedde Continental Championship n'obulendo obuwerera ddala ensamu obutaano ate mwana mulenzi omuzambia eyawangulako engule eno yali mu kifo ekyokubiri Just Singi agenda kubanga era bali already mu kinya bali mu kuvuganya ne mwanyina Jasmine Singh bali mu kuvuganya okubanga basobola okwediza engule eno kyetusuubira nti tekinagwa okutusanga kiwedde kuba round zikyabulayo nambirira round tukyalina round endala ng'otaddeko Uganda Pearl of Africa egenda okuba mu September oluve Rwanda balina okujja mu Pearl of Africa wano okubanga tekinagwa awo bakiwunzikire siwala wabula Madagascar gyetusuubira nti singa kinaba kiwunzikidde abo osanga abantu banabaako kibagezaako okubanga beekolera Rwanda bingi ebiriyo abantu bannayuganda kinyinza okujjukizaako bannayuganda basobodde okgenda tulina Cityville sponsored Godfrey Nsamba Mitsubishi Evo 9 okosa ne mwana mulenzi Kefa Walubi oyo naye yagenze Evo 10 kisodde kyasobola kumulako obulungi mu mpaka ezakuba nti ezakagwa ehoima kosa simulala mwana mulenzi era lawyer Kanso Musa Kabega nga alini Roger Simomo mu Evo 9 Polepole Wilberforce ne Roger Joseph Bongole naye mwali mu Mitsubishi Evo 8 kosa Jonas Kansime agenda kubanga naye abinkana mu Evo 8 kwo okukosa mwana mulenzi Ismail Tega nga aline Joseph Lutalo bagenda kuba mu Toyota Runex wojako kwo kuliko bana mulondi Kisozi kosa ne ova Kisozi kukuyongera abasajja abalala okuli George Semakula nga ali ne Hassan Ali Hassan beg your pardon ali ne mwana mulenzi Lauf Nasa then okosa mpozi no mulenzi yegulide nya mu N14 simulala wabula mwana mulenzi wa East African University wali gaba Hassan Ali ngagenda kubanga avuga ne mwana mulenzi Musa Nsubuga ali ku kichuba wana komera mu pala jakubazeyo mu ntebe ye eyakuku basimba rally team wovako warrant officer mzebe warrant officer lule taga mita warrant officer ngosala kunyota warrant officer muzima lule agenda kupanga asumira muvuzi simulala wabula munansi wa Rwanda nayenga mutuze wano Timothy Gawaya bagenda kubanga batanse okubanga batonotoka motoka yabo ya golf Volkswagen banji nyo tusobola kubanga tubamala yakasera kano naye twasabira okubanga bamalako bulungi mutukirize olwaliro mukirize olwaliro twakozeko ekyenjawulo nti twakijje mu studio ne tubanga tukitwala mu ebweru wa studio ne tugezaako okubanga tufuna abastar ab'enjawulo nga tetujja kulyeza manya bannanyini show eno aba Cityville twasazeewo ne batubulira nitubaako emboozi gye twawayizaamuko nabo batunyumize engeri kiki ekibasikiriza nnyo okubanga bajja okussa ensimbi muzannyo n'okubaako n'omuvuzi gwe bateekamu essente. Era mukyo emboozi mujja girabako mu maaso nga tunaba tuvudde mu break esooka mujja kuba musoma okubanga mufuna emboozi embujjuvu. Atunyonyole says mnanula mu erinnya eryokubiri awo liyinza nnya says okoze kinene nnyo okuba nti oba basazeewo okuba nti obako omukono gw'osula abaleere oba okoze kinene nnyo oba okoze kinene nnyo okubanga otukwatirira ekintu ekitali kya muzannyo n'endowooza abamu baliko pye ku basponsa nga kati abavaayo okulaga nti omuzannyo weeguli era gwina abo abantu abaguwagira. Nze ndowooza ng'oggyeko omupiira on a good day ate kati wetugenda mu bibalo emmotoka z'empaka wetubala ebibalo bameka abasasula n'abayingira n'abatasasudde ndaba nti score ekyali waggulu nnyo ku muzannyo gw'emmotoka z'empaka wano mu Africa wetubanga sifa abasinga ndowooza abatusinga yinza kuba South Africa naye ate si be bangi abalolale wano mu Africa tukyasinze naye nga mu Europe tuvuganya mu bifo ebitaano ebisooka mu fanbase. Kye ndowooza nti gwe eyasobodde okubanga ogenze Rwanda toweewale okubanga ovuga ab'e Rwanda okwakwatako naffe wano bo bakoze left wetukipinga left bo bakipinga right kitegeeza nti gwe olina okubanga amangu ddala nga wakasala boda olina okisa mbongo nti okuvugaako mu Rwanda okuba safe olina okubanga okipinga right si left kuba ojja kwikanga nga omulidde mu bantu ng'obakonye. Tusuubira okubanga emboozi eno ey'e Rwanda tujja gikuleetera we shall have a special look out tugiyise Rwanda Mountain Gorilla special tujja kuba tugikuba mu show yaffe neddako okuba tuyinza obutasobola kikwataganya ebyuma bikalimagezi biyinza okugaana biyinza otutimawo okubanga tusobola kubikwasaganya wamu naye tewalyagadde okuba buli kintu nga tukikuwa live wano ku show y'enganzi eya motorsport. Bannaffe ewiiki ewedde nga njagala sinabagenda mu break wiiki ewedde Arthur naye yazze kuba ne nakwata embooko nakuba kuliganala eriye wansi galuga ye Maxim Van P Mkambi abadde agikubye Kenya okweteekateekera empaka n'okuyamba okuteekateekera ttiimu ya Uganda egenda okubanga ekiika mu mpaka za Africa eza digi ezigenda okuba e Kenya mu weekend egenda okuba yennyini weekend ye18 mpaka 22 abasajja bajja kubanga ttiimu ya Uganda egenda. Uganda ebadde ekyali ku muyigo gwa nsimbi naye katusabe Mukama Katonda tusaasire tusobole okufuna ssente ezigenda okubanga zitwala ttiimu ejjudde ennaku z'omwezi tugende Kenya tusobole okulwana ekikopo kye twasemayo okuwangula mu 2012 mu mpaka za Africa bwe twaziteeka ebusika mu Uganda Motorsport Arena ne ku mulundi guno singa tufuna ttiimu eweda ey'abavuzi 35 kijja kutuyamba okukuba omuwendo gw'ennamba n'okweza omuwendo ogusobola okubanga guvuganya mu kilasi ez'enjawulo. Tuzuubira nyine essuubi nti kilasi z'abaana abavubuka abataawo balabika bakyatuweesa nti bajja kukoma kutuwasanya wano ewaffe mpozi n'ebweru balaze nti balina omutindo ogweyongeddeko kilasi y'aba 14 centamu eya 85 kilasi ya lesi y'aba pade eya 125 MX2 Ali Bobo ne Alesta Blick Musa ne MX actually S65 CC Piwi ampozi kosa ne CC atano woti na wesubi era ne bannakenya ndowooza beeteeseteese tubalize tulina lunaku lwokka ttiimu ebeerenga ekubanga situla mwabasobola okubanga mudukirira ttiimu eno musobola okubanga muyisa obuyambi mu National Council Sport be basuubira okubanga bagenda kubanga bayambako okusula omukono ttiimu eno naye katusabe gavumenti eyongereko ku bajeti ya ttiimu kuba ekyamazima twetaaga okubanga ttiimu eyambwa wano mpindi kinya Kenya ekitegeeza nti bwe tunaba tulemeddwe Kenya ezinaabye South Africa tuyinza obutatwalira wadde ddala omuvuzi naye katusabe nti Kenya tunasobola okutwala ttiimu ejjudde sobola okudda n'obuwanguzi munzikiriza tugenda mu break tukomewo obutelevu ne bannaffe betwasisinkanye mu field bajja kuba batubulya emboozi zaabwe mu bo kyekyagala twerabire nti ku bo kuliko omusajja omu South Africa owa trail riding agenda kukulaga kino tokigezaako kimutwalidde emyaka ekintu akimazeemu emyaka egiwera 25 nga kigezesa okikola okituukiza wakituuse mwana mulenzi oyo si mulala wabula ye Brian Kepa nzaalwa ya South Africa asasulira Red Bull Uganda bakirabye nti beetaaga okuleeta emizannyo egyo ngisemeza eri abantu era tusuubira banaviira wano ennaku 5 zemazeewo era olunaku olwaleero asitudde ennaku olwaleero ku makya ga leero asitudde okuddayo mu ggwanga lya South Africa gy'ava mujjukire wano ffe abasinga okuleeta ebyakabi Nick Dewitt omu South Africa nategezebbwako nti bava mu kibuga kyekimu Johannesburg ne mwana mulenzi Brian Kepa naye twamuyina wano kati n'omulundi guno olina omukisa okubanga omukugu omwotabulire wano ku motorsport atova ku motorsport program esasulira ba Cityville ekifo kyokka osobola okuwummulira ebirowoozo n'osobola okufuna ekyokulya mu mbeera eteesitaza wabula mu mbeera wosobola okufuna ne music omusebenkevu obudde bwonna tova ku WBS TV motorsport wokyali